I'm 25 years old. I have just over $340,000 invested across a portfolio I've been building over the past few years. If I never invested another dollar from today onward, and I simply let this compound at historical market averages, this portfolio alone would cross seven figures before I turn 40. But I'm not planning to stop contributing. My goal is to keep steadily adding capital, letting time do the heavy lifting and positioning this portfolio so that $1 million isn't a stretch goal, it's the base case. In this video, I want to walk through exactly what I'm holding, why I'm holding it, and the math behind how this compounds, and how I'm thinking about the path from 340K to $1 million without needing perfect timing, insane returns, or a high risk gamble. This isn't theoretical money. These are real positions, real trades, real mistakes, and real constraints. Let's break it down. One thing I want to clear up early, this portfolio didn't come from a massive salary or a tech exit. I work a regular job, I invest consistently, and I manage risk aggressively. That's it. I'm not trying to turn 340K into 1 million overnight. I'm trying to avoid doing anything that ruins the compounding. That framing matters because the biggest enemy between 340K and 1 million isn't lack of opportunity, it's impatience. Okay, we're gonna start off looking at the holdings. Okay, this is the first one. This is Bitcoin. Let's start with the most controversial one. All right, Bitcoin, crypto, it represents a meaningful asymmetric portion of my portfolio. This is not my foundation. This is not what I rely on. This is my wild card. If Bitcoin goes nowhere for years, my plan still works. If Bitcoin performs the way many expect over the next decade, it meaningfully accelerates the timeline. Could it go to zero? Yes. Do I think that's likely? No. That's why it's sized the way it is. This is the optional upside, not required for success. This is the most important part of my portfolio. It's also the most boring. This one is VFB, and it tracks the S&P 500. This is my foundation. It's not exciting. It's not clever. It's just effective. Historically, the S&P has returned over 10% annually over long periods of time. Some years are ugly. Some years are incredible. Over decades, it trends up. That's what I'm betting on. I'm not trying to time it. I'm not trying to outsmart it. I'm just buying consistently and letting time work. If this were the only thing that I owned and I kept contributing steadily, I'd still end up wealthy. This is my sleep well at night money. This is the holding number 3. This is my tech exposure. Okay, I got a lot of tech in this portfolio. On top of the S&P, I maintain additional exposure to technology heavy indices, and this is intentional. I'm young enough to absorb volatility, and I believe tech will continue to outpace broader markets over a long periods of time. And even if there are drawdowns along the way, this position swings more, and I don't check it daily. I do not panic sell, and this is my growth tilt, not my safety net. If I were 45 or 50, this allocation would look very, very different. At time is the asset I'm exploiting. Okay. So this is why I avoid individual stock picking. Okay. Even though I have individual stocks and I've done well with them, I've tried picking individual stocks. Some worked, some didn't. And here's the honest truth. Even when the business looks absolutely incredible, the stock can disappoint. And that's the risk with individual companies. Indexes don't care if one company stumbles, they just keep on compounding. So outside of a few small positions, I keep my exposure broad, boring, and systematic. Let's talk about cash, okay? Why I hold more people expect. I also hold a meaningful amount of cash currently. Some people will say that's inefficient. I disagree. Cash gives me options. It will give me stability, the ability to during drawdowns, and protection from being forced to sell at the wrong time. I'm not married to holding this much forever. It's a position, not a permanent state. Being fully invested sounds smart until you need liquidity. This is the math. How 340K will become 1 million. Now let's talk about the numbers. If 340K compounds at 10% annually, it roughly triples every 14 to 15 years. That alone puts this portfolio well into seven figures before 40 without adding $8. But I am adding dollars. Even modest monthly contribution drastically changes the curve. Compounding doesn't look impressive in years 1 through 5. It looks inevitable in years 10 through 15. And that's the part most people will never reach. This is why $1 million actually matters. 1 million isn't the finish line, it's a turning point. And at that level, growth becomes insane and it begins to outpace contribution. Mistakes, they will matter less, and optionality increases dramatically. It's not about yachts or luxury, it's about control. Control over your time, control risk, and control over decisions. So here are the risks. This could fail. Markets could underperform. Bitcoin could collapse and my income could change. And that's the reality. The biggest risk, in my opinion, is doing nothing or constantly resetting your strategy before compounding has time to work. I'd rather accept volatility now than regret inactivity later. Just remember, this isn't advice. This is simply what I'm doing with my own money. No hype, no shortcuts, and no promises. Just positioning, patience, and time. And if you understand that, you're already ahead of most people. If you're still watching, I appreciate you so, so much. Just know that I'm rooting for you. And if you want to check out more content, more cool stuff like that, I post YouTube shorts and TikToks. So be sure to check that out. I do HVAC so you can see what I'm doing at work. But I will see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, like for more content just like this. Stay sexy, stay awesome, and I'm out. Peace.